Whenever I try to explain something in words, it ends up sounding more complicated than it really is. Well, I can't promise to stop talking anytime soon, but now is the time to add some doing. Do you have a notebook? I really hope you have a blank notebook in your hands because it's time to start your first Linkbook. All you need is a notebook, any blank notebook will do, and a pencil or a pen. And may I take a moment to plug the humble pencil? It doesn't bleed through the paper, doesn't stain your shirt, works in zero gravity, and it has an eraser. So open up your new notebook. On the inside cover, go ahead and write your name, phone number, and email address. One of the things that I choose to believe about humanity is that there is no person so selfish that they won't at least try to return your notebook if they find it. And I've had that faith rewarded more than once. Now, flip ahead and start your first page around page 10. We're going to save the first few pages for indexes. We'll talk about those in the next video. For now, just flip to page 10. You have to draw these two vertical lines so that you have columns for notes, the ID in the middle, and the links on the left. You'll figure out what spacing you like. I keep a stencil in the back of the book that helps me draw the lines. Now you're ready to write your first entry, and your first entry is number 1. Philosophically, the numbers don't mean anything. They're just sequential identifiers. So don't distract yourself with weird numerological superstitions, but still, it's hard to deny there's something special about number 1. A great way to start your link book is to set the tone with a quotation that's meaningful for you. The one you choose will depend on what inspires you personally and what kind of link book you want to build. If you want to use your link book as a commonplace book for mindful reading, you might start the way I did with this quote from St. Jerome: "To read without writing is to sleep." This quote is for real, my number 1 in my personal link book, and it's there to remind me that reading isn't a passive consumer activity. It's a conversation with history, and writing alongside an author is how you really come to understand what you're reading. If you want to lean into the hypertext aspect of the link book, you might like this one from Ted Nelson, the inventor of hypertext. Everything is deeply intertwingled. In an important sense, there are no subjects at all, since the cross connections among the myriad topics of this world simply cannot be divided up neatly. How wonderful. The link book is all about intertwingularity. If your focus is more on journaling and reflection, here's a quote from Flannery O'Connor that I love. "I write because I don't know what I think until I read what I say." We don't think through problems, we talk through problems, and your link book can be a conversation with yourself. Finally, if you're excited about using your link book for creative work and idea development, this quote from Stephen Johnson sums it up beautifully. "The secret to hunch cultivation is simple. Write everything down." In his book, Where Good Ideas Come From, Johnson explains how innovation grows out of small, half-formed ideas, the slow hunches that develop through writing, linking, and returning to them over time. Now, I've written these down as 1, 2, 3, 4, but any of these would make a great element number 1 in your link book. If you have a better idea, do what you want to do. That's all anyone ever does. But don't overthink this first step. Just get it down and get it done. And what do you write next? Well, that's up to you. It depends on what kind of link book you want to build. It also depends on what's already on the page. One great thing about the link book is you never start from a blank page. Anytime you're stuck for inspiration, there must be something on the page that you can link out of. So look at your element number 1. If it's truly meaningful to you, it should already be sparking ideas for you. Maybe it's reminding you of other books that you've read or conversations you've had that connect to this quote. Maybe there's something you want to riff on right now, a thought, an insight, a memory. Go ahead and capture that while the spark is alive. For me, looking at these quotes, I naturally want to record the sources. As Abraham Lincoln said, "There's nothing worse than a misattributed quote on the internet." So let's start with Ted Nelson's quote. It comes from his classic book, Computer Lib/Dream Machines. When I record a book, I write down the title and the author, sometimes the publication year or the author's date of birth and death, but at minimum, I write down the title and the author. The Stephen Johnson quote is from his book, Where Good Ideas Come From, so we'll write an element for that, give it number 6, and then we just link it up to the quote. Linking the quotations with the books like in this way leads us right to the first way that I use my link book as a commonplace book for more mindful reading. Let's look at that in the next video.